Have the man behind our top story of the morning, the Mall of the Emirates, getting that 5 billion dirham refresh. We are joined by Khalif bin Braik. He's the CEO of Futtaim Asset Management, and we are extremely happy to see him again this morning. Hello.
Brandy, good morning, and thank you once again for having me.
Thank you for coming in to go through the nitty-gritty of this. There is no shortage of messages for you this morning. Let's start with the retail offering and the logistics of that 20,000 square metres. Where are you going to put it?
So again, thank you very much. Majid Al Futtaim is a retail, leisure and shopping mall developer and operator that's based out of Dubai over the last 30 years. And the transformational vision or the investment that was announced 2 days ago, the 5 billion dirhams, is a 5-year investment. And technically, Brandy, it's a bold refounding of a retail icon that has existed in this part of the world for the last 20 years. Very soon, we're going to be marking the 20th anniversary of Mall of the Emirates. And yes, within the 5 billion dirham investment, we're going to reimagine some of our physical spaces. We're going to relook at some of our areas within the mall. And all of this we're doing for one reason and one reason only, is to ensure we continuously enhance consumer experience within Mall of the Emirates, right? And yes, we will avail circa 20,000 square meters gross leasable area, close to about 100 stores. And the focus is to double down on luxury, look at premium food and beverage dining. We're going to introduce for the first time in Mall of the Emirates a new luxury wellness offering. We're looking at bespoke for entertainment concepts, focus on families, Gen Z, and tweens. And again, for the first time only in Mall of the Emirates, we're going to have an indoor-outdoor food and beverage premium dining, which has never existed. And that is a response to the ever-evolving consumer needs and wants from us.
You've said luxury about 2 or 3 times there and premium twice. Does that reflect who you see as Mall of the Emirates' growing customer, the growing population here?
So look, Mall of the Emirates is a mall for everybody, right? But there is an importance that we're trying to emphasize on luxury. Just to give you a bit of numbers, pre-COVID, luxury was circa 20,000 square meters of gross leasable area. We've expanded that by about 20%, and we're looking at expanding that even further within the next 5 years to allow for luxury to better represent themselves and to allow for new entry of luxury brands coming into the market for the first time.
That 20,000 square meters, is it going to be space that's already there within the mall repurposed, or is the mall itself actually going to get bigger?
So we're going to look at converting some of the back of house into front of house. So in terms of the envelope, it will stay as is, but we're going to build in certain areas outside of the envelope. So to answer your question is, yes, we're going to expand the mall and continue converting some of the back of house into the front of house. So it's going to be completely new 20,000 square meters gross leasable area.
Where can you expand?
So most of the expansion is within the West End and, most importantly, the core, the Central Galleria. So if you look at the Central Galleria where the current drop-off is, that's where we're going to expand outwards, closer to Sheikh Zayed Road.
What about parking? Will you be adding more parking in this?
So interesting question that you mentioned. So we've announced our partnership with Parkin late last year to look at better management of our parking facility. Now, should there is a requirement for us to add parking within the new gross leasable area, we will most definitely do so. But in terms of parking capacity, we feel it's where it needs to be at the current state.
And where will this outdoor F&B courtyard physically be?
That is going to be at the current West End, where we have Magic Planet that has shut down a few days ago, and where the current food court is. That entire space is going to be completely reimagined. We're going to take a bit of the entertainment concepts upstairs. We're going to bring some of the food element combined between the 2 floors. So that entire side of the West End is going to be converted into a F&B, dining under the stars, a Gen Z district, a bit of athlete leisure as well. And that is where the focus of the investment will be over the next 18 months.
Alongside the retail and the F&B, you're going to be building a 600-seat performing arts theatre. Again, the physical question, because I remember Duck Tack from the top of the roof back in the day. Where are you popping this theatre?
So it's exactly Duck Tack. So Duck Tack is we've started the effort late last year. We've completely redeveloped Duck Tack. We have 2 amazing partnerships that we're very proud of, the Dubai Performance Arts and Pineapple Studios out of London. So you'll be very soon, meters away within DocTac, you'll be able to enjoy a musical, do a Pilates, dance studio, and again, enjoy a musical out of Broadway or out of, London, which is interesting.
The big question everyone's got for you this morning is traffic. If this increases footfall, obviously it's going to increase the number of cars coming in. What is the plan when it comes to the roads?
So Mall of the Emirates is one of the most productive shopping centers globally. We've welcomed over 40 million people last year, and we expect that number to grow by about 15% this year. We are proud of our partnership with the Road and Transport Authority that we have announced late last year that focuses on enhancing the road accessibility around Mall of the Emirates. I'm happy to inform that we're 60% there. The accessibility has improved. Now you have a better access from Mall of the Emirates that has actually opened a few days ago. The access from Mall of the Emirates into Game. And from Game coming into Mall of the Emirates. The big one, I suppose, Brandy, is the bridge that's going to hopefully open in September that will allow for seamless traffic coming into on Sheikh Zayed Road from Abu Dhabi into Mall of the Emirates. So all of that work should complete by hopefully September this year.
What could this refresh, this reimagining of the Mall of the Emirates do for footfall? You talked about expecting to see 15% more this year. What is this plan going to do for you? What have you estimated?
So I think due to the ever-evolving consumer expectations, so must we. And we want to continue with this investment, delivering world-class experiences and ensuring that we focus on elements that are extremely important given the research that we've seen internally. Research shows us that families would travel, the extra mile, especially on weekends and busy periods, if you have the right curated experiences. And this investment speaks to exactly that. We want to ensure that every section of the mall, the West, more Gen Z, F&B, blends in with the Central Galleria where the luxury currently sits, that blends in with the East, right? And we're working extremely hard with, our teams internally and our luxury retail partners to ensure that we have the right spaces, especially for the, for the luxury consumers that want their own sort of personal or private spaces within the various areas of the mall.
Do you have target footfall numbers though?
We don't, to be honest, but we ensure that at every point in time, there's a healthy growth that happens within every asset, within the 29 assets that we operate in the 5 countries that we operate in.
Well, as Richard pointed out earlier, you are changing the wheels on a moving car. How do you make sure while you do this, and we've got 40 seconds left with you, that it's not disruptive to your tenant's business at the moment?
Look, everything we do in collaboration with our consumers, looking at the feedback that we get from the various NPS data points, and most importantly, with our retail partners, right? This is an effort that's a collaborative effort, and we work hand in hand with them to ensure that we do one thing and one thing only, and that is to exceed the expectations of our consumers. And again, this effort speaks to the feedback that we've received from the consumers, and we're 100% confident that continue evolving Mall of the Emirates is only going to, ensure we do what's right for our consumers and most importantly, our retail partners.
Are you already seeing that pay off with the Parkin tie-up? It was 2 months ago, beginning of Feb, that you've brought in that barrierless entry. Has it done what you wanted in terms of increasing the turnover of spaces, decreasing the time to physically get in and out?
Absolutely. Another important partnership that we've announced late last year with Parkin, one of Dubai's leading management companies. And again, what that has done, Brandy, you come in Mall of the Emirates at ease, you don't have the barriers anymore. It has saved, and we know this for a fact, anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes on the weekends and busy periods for any consumer. So it's the effortless, it's the accessibility that our consumers would want. And I think that has dealt with a very important challenge that consumers have been telling us all along. So absolutely, to answer your question.
Khalif bin Braik is the CEO of Futtaim Asset Management, speaking to us this morning about the Mall of the Emirates and its 5 billion dirham facelift. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning and for taking all of the questions that we've had people messaging you in this morning.
Brandy, thank you very much again for having me.
You're listening to The Business Breakfast. It has just gone 7:15. Weather check.